Good evening, and welcome to the news that should be. It's been revealed that the new Labour leader, Jeremy Corbyn, once wrote that the events of September the 11th were manipulated by the West to blame Osama bin Laden. A spokesman for the government said that Jeremy Corbyn is obviously dangerous, insane, a security risk, should not be the Labour leader, and should be taken out with a drone strike. The spokesman went on to say that it was obvious for any X Factor viewer that 19 hijackers with box cutters were responsible for making NORAD stand down. They were responsible for sending planes in the wrong direction. They were responsible for pulverizing the towers, including steel, to dust. They were responsible for bringing down a third building that wasn't hit by a plane, Building 7, and that they were responsible for censoring the 28 pages in the Commission report that definitely doesn't show that Saudi Arabia ran the operation. George Bush and Tony Blair were unavailable for comment. George Bush was attending a gurning contest in Texas, and Tony Blair was busy calculating how many people his next state-funded business deal will kill. Corbyn also appeared to endorse conspiracies regarding a New World Order, a group of billionaire bankers destroying countries to take them over for the resources and to enslave the population. Questions are now being asked if this is the same New World Order that Henry Kissinger, David Cameron, Gordon Brown, George Herbert Walker Bush, and even the Pope, have been saying they want to introduce. 10 Downing Street have released a statement following these revelations. It reads as follows. As the leader of the country, David Cameron wants to remind everyone not to look into claims made by Jeremy Corbyn about 9/11 and the New World Order, as you can now be deemed a terrorist for doing so in our free country. But instead, the Prime Minister encourages you to watch X Factor and Strictly Come Dancing. The makers of these shows put in a lot of time and effort to produce them to such a high standard for us all to enjoy. And we should make every effort to watch them and their spin-off shows rather than looking into real matters. Real matters should be left to people like the Prime Minister. Jeremy Corbyn is to apologise for the Iraq War. The war in Iraq, which we now know was based on lies and deception, orchestrated by Tony Blair and his spin doctor Alistair Campbell, killed well over 1 million people. Blair, being a war criminal, has repeatedly refused to apologise for these murders, saying instead that he would do it again if his paymasters required it. Lest we forget that Tony Blair was making personal oil deals that would benefit himself, whilst the servicemen and women were being killed under his orders. In other news, the US are preparing for hybrid warfare with Russia in the Baltics. This report follows on from another report from a think tank a few weeks ago saying that Russia and NATO are actively preparing for war against each other in Ukraine. Backtracking again, and this time for the good of humanity, David Cameron has said he would work with Vladimir Putin to combat ISIS. But in an act of overwhelming arrogance, David Cameron has insisted that Bashar al-Assad, who has done nothing to anyone apart from having the audacity to fight the Western-created ISIS that are fighting him in his own country, must be removed from power. After all, Cameron has to pave the way for Murdoch and the Rothschilds to drill for oil in Syria. We also learned today that David Cameron's EU negotiations have stalled because David Cameron refused to lay out what he wants to renegotiate in writing. David Cameron is still believed to be really annoyed at having to offer the referendum and as a result hates Nigel Farage even more. And with David Cameron's new unopposed dictatorial powers to kill British citizens with drones wherever he likes, he's considering this type of attack on Nigel Farage. Farage was unavailable for comment, but a UKIP spokesman just laughed. Apple have recently launched their latest model, the iPhone 6s. A spokesman for Apple said that he was still amazed at the response by the public, considering they have hardly changed the phone at all. All they've done is repackaged it. He went on to say that it shows just how dumb the population have become and how easy they can be taken for fools. He was unable to comment further because he was having to rush to receive a huge bonus for duping the stupid public again, and he intends to spend his bonus partying with his banker chums. And finally tonight, because these 15-minuters are so self-obsessed and blinded by the truth, we wanted to point out to Towie star Lydia Bright that her boyfriend actually has man boobs, is carrying too much puppy fat around his waist, and appears to have issues walking properly. It is also alleged that he has problems with chafing in the groin area. He was pictured with her recently out and about without a bra on. He almost tripped over his own feet. A recent survey revealed that people with more than half a brain thought Towie was a pointless program filled with self-obsessed wannabes. However, people who watched X Factor, the ones with less than half a brain, said they loved Towie and they wanted at least one more spin-off show. Well, that's all for now. I'm off to interview David Cameron, who for some reason wanted to meet at an abattoir just outside West Sussex. Goodbye.